Hey everyone, my name is Tyranny Burridge. I have written the children's book, Zariah the Butterfly. It is designed to inspire young girls to be themselves. I also have a coloring book to go along with it. Check out my website, link will be in the bio. Hey everyone, this is Tyranny and I am back with another Sistas video. Today's video is going to be my commentary of Tyler Perry's Sistas, Season 6, Episode 8, titled Uneven Playing Field. Now let's start with the least importance, which is Maurice's scene. I'm just getting so sick of Maurice and his antics. I mean, he acts like a freaking child. And this is the time he should be serious and making sure he's, on a straight and narrow so he can get off of this bogus bank robbery crime that he basically did a false confession with. And what's aggravating me is the fact that his antics could possibly pull Sabrina in with him, because apparently they're being, charged together. Which I don't understand why, because Sabrina let the authorities know that they were being robbed. I don't know why she's even being implicated at this point, but I honestly believe it's because of Maurice's fake testimony that he did with Q, which is just utterly stupid. But people are trying to help Maurice. He's being sarcastic. He's been a butthole. And I'm at the point where I feel like Sabrina is just being for herself at this point, because Maurice is going to end up having her locked down too. And what's aggravating is the fact that he's being so sarcastic like it's funny. You can go to prison for years. I want to say they said 12 years, something. I don't know. I can't remember the number, but it's some years. 90203. And he's just being so sarcastic, trying to be funny. And I'm like, and one thing about Maurice's character, he's not funny. He acts like Brown did on Meet the Browns, the TV series. And that's how Maurice acts. His character is not funny at all. His humor is dry, and I'm just sick of his character altogether at this point. And I wish he would go to prison so he can at least get out the show for a while. Next up, with Maurice is, I don't like the way he is kind of treating Sabrina and Calvin. Sabrina's trying to talk sense to him, and so is Calvin, but he's just dissing them and gonna do what he wanna do, which is going to get them in further trouble. So, like I said, I think Sabrina's just being for herself at this point. Next up is Andy and Scary Gary. And I kind of figured the way Gary's character is, he's going to do something petty after Andy said she only puts up with him for the sex. So he decides to come to her law firm, her job, to speak with Hayden as well as Andy. And he goes in to say how she's not the best he's ever had and all this nonsense. I'm like, apparently Andy hit her nerve when she said that Gary had more rhythm, but Robin was bigger. So he's still feeling salty about that. So he's going to just go to her job and tell her, well, you're not the best I've ever had either. And I'm like, that scene could have been kept, because at this point, Gary's just trying to smooth his ego. He doesn't really care about Andy. I never felt like he did, but at this point in this scene, he was just trying to hurt Andy and ease the pain of his bruised ego when she said about Robin, comparing him to Robin, basically. And I feel like Andy needs to just let Gary go. Because their relationship has not progressed since season one. The only thing is the ex-wife is not around. That's the only difference between season one and season, was it 6? Sistas with her and Gary. So, yes, Gary was being extremely petty and immature. So, and I think Andy was just tired of Gary at that point. So she told him how she felt. And of course, him being the narcissist that he is, he got mad, and so he gonna try to play get back like a child. So Karen and Zach meet up at this little, I guess, coffee shop to talk. And all while they were there, Karen did the whole reminiscing thing, trying to pull at Zach's heartstrings in regards to their previous relationship. And I mean, I'm like, Karen is at this point, she's being just blatantly disrespectful to Zach and his relationship with Fatima and their engagement. Because she knows that they're engaged to be married, and she just keep making passes at him, keep trying to pull him back to her by reminiscing on old times they had. Like, remember in previous episode, she said something about going to get their favorite breakfast that they used to love to eat together. And so they're at the coffee shop, and she tells Zach that she wants him to come to her house so they can have sex. And of course, Zach was like, I'm not going to do that. You don't have to do that. She said she'll leave the door unlocked or the door open or something. So Zach's like, no, you don't have to do that and all that. So I don't know. Well, I'm going to get to that. But Karen, at this point, I'm really disliking her character even more as the episodes continue, because Zach is engaged to be married. So why are you still making passes at him? Why are you still trying to guilt trip him into getting it back together? I mean, yeah, you two are over. And he has told Karen this several times, but she just won't take no for an answer. And I know I posed this question on a Facebook group asking, do people think Karen will turn into Melinda character from Acrimony when her husband married the other woman, was engaged to the other woman, and she had the Mrs. Gail boat and all that type of stuff. I'm like, do you think Karen will become like that based off of Zach and how he is with Fatima and their relationship? But I think Karen may, have some of those attributes of the Melinda character, but with her being pregnant, she probably go to the extremes. Like sneaking onto the boat, stuff like that. But anyway, but yes, Karen at this coffee shop saying she want to make love to Zach, knowing that he's engaged. Now this really speaks to her character at this point. That if she's really to sleep with a man who's engaged, she probably sleep with a man that's married, which she did with Aaron. Aaron was married, I believe, when they were messing around. So Karen is not afraid to sleep around with a married man, engaged man, a man who's in a relationship, committed relationship. She's not afraid to do that. And I think Karen's making herself look even worse at this point by her pursuit of Zach. And I don't think it's going to end well or end in her favor when she gets done. So Danny and Preston. Now I have always liked these two together. And I think with Preston being from the country, not really suitable, don't really know how things are, and he's never dated a black woman before. That's why he was kind of saying stupid things and disrespectful things to Danny. But I honestly believe he and Danny could really, be together and go the distance. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess it's like when you have two people who are dating and they're from two different cultures, they have to learn the other's culture. And that's basically what I feel like Preston could potentially do. Because, I think he really likes Danny. I do. and I think they go well together. And I like the fact they had a conversation about they want to be, exclusive basically. And I'm like, okay, good, because Danny needs to stop laying down everything that pay her some attention and stick with one guy and be with him for a while, and then see if she really likes this guy instead of just using her body to comfort whatever pain she's going through. I think that's what it is. I think Danny has some traumas in her past. That's why she, sleeps around the way that she does. And I think Preston is the right guy for her, to be honest, because he's the only one who's been steady in her life thus far on the show. But I think her and Preston should, stay together and try to make it work and be exclusive. Just see how it will go. So Fatima finally comes home and she does have her ring. And her and Zach have a much needed conversation. And I'm so happy because Fatima is the most processing person I have ever known in real life and on TV. But I'm glad she does that so she was going to lash out and, cause a serious issue with someone's life and health and all that. But I'm glad that her and Zach had a conversation, and he was saying that he never lost anyone like the way he could have lost Karen. And Fatima voiced how she felt abandoned, at the salon when Karen showed up and he ran to her and just dissed her and dismissed her and showed her all this affection in front of her, his fiance, and everyone else, and everybody else noticed. So I'm glad that, they had a conversation. I feel like maybe Zach understood where she was coming from. But I think he was right to let her talk when she was ready to talk and not just try to pry it out of her prematurely, because we all know Tim can be cray. But I'm glad that they had a conversation, and Zach understood how Fatima felt being abandoned, and Fatima understood more about why he did what he did with Karen. Even though I kind of think he was still acting a little overboard with it. He was just doing way too much. But I'm glad that they talked, and I'm glad that their engagement is back on. And I was hoping that they would not break up, because I do not want to see. Now, I don't think Zach will get back with Karen at all, ever again. But, it's still a thought of it could happen because Karen is after him so tough. But, yes, the whole Fatima scene was excellent. I'm glad they finally talked it out. And I think that's what Zach needed. Zach needed to hear Fatima's side and hear how she felt, because hearing everybody else say it, like Pam said, Preston saying it, I guess he wasn't really getting it. But when Fatima saw him, how she felt humiliated by how he just ran her and hugged her and just showed her all this affection in front of everyone, I think Zach understood what she was saying, where she came from, and how she felt, and how she's still feeling all type of way about it. Now, should Zach dismiss it? No, he should not. But I feel like now that Zach really knows and heard it from Fatima himself, hopefully he will do better to not be so upfront his affection towards his ex-girlfriend. So, that's all. Last but definitely not least, the last scene of the episode, all the sisters, well, not all, excluding Fatima, Danny, Sabrina, Karen, and Andy were at at Karen's apartment. And they asked, like, we know who Daddy is, all that foolishness. We still don't know exactly who, but like I said, I think it's Aaron's. And she's going to pin it on Zach based off how he's been acting. But I digress. So she says that Zach is coming over for sex, so y'all have to leave. Simple as that. Then they show Fatima walks in, and I think it was Danny that said Zach is coming over. And Fatima said or asked, that's what I want to know. And Karen, I could tell her facial expression kind of flipped a little bit. Like she wasn't her facial expression wasn't this arrogant person anymore. It kind of got a little humble expression on her face. When Fatima walked in, which is good for her because she's just been arrogant all the way since Zach showed her all that attention outside of her salon in front of everyone. So I guess Karen feel like she got one up on Fatima now because of Zach's behavior. But Zach and Fatima are back on, so Karen's back to square one basically when it comes to getting Zach back. But yeah, and so all the sisters look like, oh my gosh, what is she doing here? What is she gonna do? She just heard this until the end of the show cuts off. And I'm like, but yeah, sorry y'all, my phone cut off. But yeah, Karen at the coffee shop, Karen said, I want you to come home and make love to me. And Zach was like, I'm not gonna do that. Like that's not gonna happen. But she just keep pressing issues. I guess she still thinks Zach is that old guy that just kind of came and went when she said so. But he's not that guy anymore. He's a new man. And like I said, she was expecting Zach, but Fatima showed up. And I don't know if Zach's going to show up eventually. I don't think so. At least he would be smart not to, because he know what Karen wants, because she told him at the coffee shop. But I don't think Zach will show up. And if he does, he's a complete idiot. And he deserves everything Fatima going to do to him. But Karen is becoming more and more disrespectful to Fatima, more and more disrespectful to Zach and Fatima's relationship, to their engagement, and she's becoming more and more brazen. I honestly believe it's because of how Zach acted outside of her salon, in front of everyone, in front of Fatima, humiliating her. So that's why Karen feels like she has license to, go after Zach in his way, in his manner, even though he has a fiance. So Zach is going to have to nip that in the bud. He's going to have to fix that because he caused it. He got that box wrong. He's going to have to stop it some way. But if you all like this video, leave me a comment. I would love to interact with you all. Subscribe to my channel if you wish, and I will see you all in the next video.